And we're back with another episode of Imperfectly Us.
Look at us.
Back.
Weekly.
To back.
Woo, woo. Weekly. Woo,
To back.
woo. 3 backs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Numbers have not ever been my strong suit.
Well, it's not even numbers. It was back.
Whatever.
To back.
Whatever.
To back.
It's all good. So I'm Cathy.
Jason.
And we're happy to have you with us for another episode of Imperfectly Us.
The podcast about
Parenting.
a little bit of health.
Some marriage.
A little bit of life.
Kind of just like counseling for us.
It's the cheap marriage counseling.
Yes. So rather than laying on a couch somewhere and talking to a very expensive therapist, we're sitting at our kitchen table and talking to all of you. So thanks for listening. Yeah. There's a fly flying around our
so many flies in this
kitchen right
house.
now, too, and it's driving us a little bit bonkers. So we apologize if you hear the buzzing in the background. We're
hilarious.
apparently infested with flies.
It's Amityville.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I swear I didn't leave a door or a window open.
I killed about 15 today since I got home.
Yeah. There must have been a hole in one of the screens. Because I take it back, I did have the windows open, but they have screens. And so there must be some opening somewhere that they're getting in.
With bigger holes.
With bigger holes. So, I don't know. It's a mystery.
It's going to keep me busy.
Yes, you and your electric fly swatter.
I almost got myself earlier because I was swinging so hard. Like a tennis racket.
Yeah, you almost swung back and hit yourself
Yeah.
and zapped yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's electric, so you don't need to swing so hard. Like, it's not Wimbledon.
But it's aggression.
Maybe you need to rein it in a little.
Are you going to hear me go, ah! When I spike the fly across the room?
I hope not. It's a weird sound.
It's a grunt.
I know, it's still a weird sound.
So how was your week?
My week was okay. Kind of so our friends were out of town for a couple of days, and I think Isabella missed playing with her friends. Izzy's once again with Gigi at a concert, so Wednesday night podcasting session, what? But she was a bit of a handful near the end of the weekend, and it was hot this past weekend. So it was
Uncomfortable.
like heat index over 100, boiling hot. So
With a 6-year-old wanting us to do everything with her.
Yes, she was definitely missing her friends this week. And we actually had a little bit of a Izzy meltdown one day in the pool, which it might have been like it was hot and maybe we just needed to make her take a break and go inside. But when we were in the pool, it was we don't have air conditioning at our house, we just have some window units, so the pool was the only thing that made those really, really hot days bearable.
It was nice.
So, but I definitely discovered why parents drink.
It's because they have kids.
Yeah. So, Izzy is very sweet and very polite, according to everybody else. But that's not necessarily always the version of Izzy that we get at home. And that's okay, because this should be her safe place and her place where that she, I would much rather have her be super polite to everybody else and save some of the sassiness for us. Because frankly, we probably deserve it a little bit, because I'm sure I know I got my mouth washed out with soap and smacked a couple of times for being sassy.
Oh yeah, I've taken a couple bites out of bars.
Yeah. My mom always used liquid soap, though. She said it got into the crevices.
See, we were poor, so we had bar soap.
Well, we were poor too, but apparently that was an area my mom liked to splurge in, because she really wanted that soap to be in your mouth. No, but she was being sassy and whiny, and to be honest with you, I don't even remember what it was about.
It was thousands of little things.
And she had gotten warned after like the 7th thing. She had gotten warned, that she would be required to get out of the pool if she whined or sassed again. And probably, 2 minutes later. And once again, I don't even remember what it was that she said, but I said something, I think, and then she responded in a whiny, sassy manner, and you kind of looked at me. Like, it hadn't even fazed me at that point because I was so, like, inundated with her sassiness all day.
I gave her the
umpire, you're out of here.
Closed fist, open thumb, get out of here.
And so we told her she had to get out of the pool. And she, like, I moved her towards the ladder, and then she attempted to start to swim away from the ladder.
Oh, she was like, you first.
No, she first attempted to swim away from the ladder, and then I moved her back in front of the ladder, and I was like, get up. Get out of the pool. And that's when she was started to be like, the you first, you first, you first. And we were like, no, get out of the pool. You first. No, get out of the pool. And so she's like yelling back at us. Poor neighbor, I think, was out on the other side of her pool. Felt really bad about that. And we're like, get out of the pool. And so you apparently decided you were Hercules.
I was going to throw her.
Because you were like, if you don't get out of this pool this instant, I will pick you up and put you over the side. And she still didn't budge. And sure enough, you picked her up and started to, and I was like, I could just visualize it. It was going to happen in slow motion. You were going to start to put her down. Something was going to happen. And like half of the pool was going to collapse and water was just, you guys were both going to end up in the yard because water was going to go everywhere. That's just I was envisioning in my head. And so you're attempting to lift her over the side. She's clinging on to you for dear life. And I'm just like, holy shit, where is the hidden camera? Did you just reach up and grab that? No. Okay. He just like reached into the air and it looked like he grabbed the fly, but he didn't. But so you eventually put her back down, but I have to ask you. You have her slung over your shoulder like a sack of potatoes. How tempted were you to dump her over your shoulder into the water and then make a comment about like needing her needing to cool off?
There would have been no comment like that, but the thought did pop into my head.
So I was very impressed. I gotta say, parenting victory. You set her back down, and then I once again very firmly told her to get out of the pool. And so we have a rule at our house because our pool's not great. Like we found a good deal. It holds water. We love it. The ladder is not so stable.
Free.
And so it was the ladder that came with it. And so we have a rule at our house that you're not allowed to play on the ladder and also one person on the ladder at a time. Well, at this point, she's finally starting to climb out of the pool. And I am on her ass.
This is a good 2 minutes.
Right behind her. Yes.
Arguing.
2 minutes from when she was supposed to get out of the pool. And us saying just the same thing over again. Get out of the pool. Get out of the pool. You have timeout. Get out of the pool. And so her 5-minute timeout went to a 10-minute timeout. And then she finally gets out of the pool. I'm right on her ass climbing behind her. And the little, like, she has the guts to say, one person on the ladder at a time.
It's such a me thing to say, too.
I know. And it was one of those moments, like, there are so many times where you and her are arguing, and I'm like, oh my god, he doesn't understand. He's arguing with a little mini version of himself. Like, this is not going to end well. It's not going to go anywhere. But so she calls me out on being on the ladder at the same time she is. I'm like, that little shit. So I drag her into the house, and
I'm laughing in the pool, by the way.
Right,
because I heard her say that, and I went underwater. I'm trying to control myself.
Because like the last thing you can do at this moment, and that's parenting is so hard. Because the last thing you cannot laugh at her in this moment. Like, we have no sense of control already or authority right now. Like, our 6-year-old is running us through the ringer, and if you laugh, like, shit's really gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, you have no respect anyway.
Yeah. She already wasn't given the respect. But yeah, so smoke is coming out of my ears. I am doing my best to try to maintain a semblance of calm and authority. And I get her in the house, and I turn into my mother.
Soaking wet. She's
soaking wet. Normally we make her, like, sit and dry off. She's soaking wet. Water's coming off of her everywhere. drag her into the house, and I squirt some of the liquid soap that's by the kitchen sink on my hand, and I shove it in her mouth. And you think it's over, right? Because how much willpower does a 6-year-old have?
This is about the time where I come in and throw the towel at her so she can dry off a little bit. But then she goes ahead and...
I say to her, how does that soap taste in your sassy mouth? And apparently she was channeling all of the Jason she has in her body. And she says to me, I don't know. I spit it out.
Oh, snap.
And I seriously thought my head was going to explode. I'm like, it's one of those parenting moments, and I'm hoping other people have them too, and we're not alone in this. I'm like, what do I do? So I take more soap and I shove it in her mouth.
I thought that you popped her 2 front teeth out.
So she's got 2 front teeth that are loose. Her 2 top front teeth are loose. And I had that moment because parenting is so real talk, right? You know you have to maintain your emotions and your anger and try to stay in control because, really, that's what we're mad at her about. We're mad at her about the fact that she's not maintaining her emotions and she's acting sassy and whining and stuff like that. And then this shit show is just continuing to escalate. And so so I shoved some more soap in her mouth. I did not make contact with her 2 front teeth, although she tried to tell me that, you broke my tooth, which, no, because she still has 2 very wiggly 2 front teeth. And
Would the tooth fairy pay the visit that night?
I think the tooth fairy might have sent a memo and said, don't act like a jerk to your parents.
Keep your teeth.
Yeah. Keep your teeth until your mouth really is clean. But so I literally, in the middle of the kitchen, stripped off her bathing suit, wrapped her in the towel you had thrown in, and then sent her to her room for 15 minutes. And I got outside and I was shaking. And you can't help but, and I know I'm not alone in this because I've talked to a couple of mom friends about it, but you get outside and I look at you and I'm like, first of all, what the hell just happened? And then second of all, even though, you understand sometimes why parents haul off and hit their kids. And we are not against spanking at our house. We both grew up in homes that we got spanked. My dad didn't even have to spank us. He just had to threaten to spank us. And that was enough to put the fear of God in you. But we recognized very early on with Isabella that spanking was not the way to go.
We tried.
She got spanked once and she turned around and hit us back.
She cold-cocked us.
And so we were like, okay. Spanking doesn't work with Isabella. So timeouts work, taking things away works, expressing your disappointment works, but spanking doesn't work. But I seriously was so angry in that moment and trying to keep a lid on my anger that it took everything in me to not haul off and smack her because I was so angry. But then I get outside and I didn't smack her. I kept that anger under control, and yet I still felt like you should have done better. So is that what parenting is? Last week I asked you if I was a helicopter parent, but just in general now, and this week I'm wondering, is that what parenting is? Just always feeling these moments of massive insecurity. I should have done better.
Well, you're always going to question yourself on any decision.
Yeah. But
and you have to mold this child
human being, yeah,
into a functioning, stable adult.
Yes. Which, Izzy's such a great kid. Which is why when she's not, I think it's so shocking. But she is very sassy. Most people don't see her day-to-day sassiness. And she's actually pretty sarcastic. She has a pretty good grasp of sarcasm for a 6-year-old. But this was one of those days where she just was Like, she had a fire tongue.
We should have not allowed her in the pool for the rest of the day.
Yeah. But then it was one of those things that by necessity, like, it's freaking 100 degrees outside. That's the only way we were going to stay cool on that day. But yeah, I couldn't help but feel like I failed. Like, I was being a shitty mom. Like, I should have reacted differently. I should have, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And so you went in and checked on her once, and then I went in and checked on her, and she was just sitting there, and I was like, okay, good, you're calm. It's been 10 minutes. You have 5 more minutes of your time out. I want you for the next 5 minutes to think about what it was that you did wrong, so that you can come out and talk to Mommy and Daddy and tell us what is it that went wrong here. And she right away, wanted to launch into, oh, I'm sorry for my attitude, because that's kind of her, fallback.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, if we're acknowledging it, it is her attitude that was the issue. But I wanted more than that. I didn't want just her fallback answer, because she knows that that's, I wanted to know what it was that she had done wrong. What didn't she listen on? I wanted her to be more specific and more thoughtful. So we left her in there for those 5 minutes, and then she came out and she apologized, and we talked about things a little bit. And why don't you tell about that part? Because you had at one point, I'm crying, Isabella's crying, and I can see you smirking 4 feet away from us, just shaking your head at all these crying females in your life.
That was it. That was going through my mind. It was everybody's so caught up in their emotion, and I was laughing at myself for not being in that emotion, and be like, is there something wrong with me right now?
Do you think it's just because I was the one that was actively disciplining her? Yeah. Which is so funny, because I do feel like most of the time I wear the pants. I'm the disciplinarian. But I have to tell you, being home with her this summer, if she does something sassy, all I have to say is, you know what, I think I need to call your father. No, don't call Dad! There are currently 3 flies flying around in our kitchen right now. Yeah. Which is so weird, because I don't think you do a majority, I do a majority of the disciplining.
I'm scary.
Yeah, I guess so.
She also doesn't like for you to tell somebody what she's done.
Oh, yeah, she definitely
She likes the perception that she's a great child, which is why we have to have this conversation when she's not here.
Right. So don't tell Izzy that we told you guys. But she does get embarrassed. But and hopefully people aren't like, well, God, you guys are shitty parents. You're talking about something that's embarrassing your kid. I still, days later, this has been weighing on my mind, this whole conversation. And afterward, I thought we had a pretty good conversation, and I told her how I was very frustrated and disappointed, and that, having to discipline her this way makes my heart hurt. And that's when I kind of got emotional, and then she started to cry, and then I started to cry harder, and then she started to cry harder, and it was just a whole bunch of emotions. Hot weather, right? Am I right? Hot weather is tough. But,
hot weather and women.
But yeah. So I just have to tell you that as I am in the midst of crying with our daughter over this whole ordeal, I can see you a couple feet from me just smirking and shaking your head and laughing. You did not do a good job hiding it.
I didn't think you saw me.
And luckily, Izzy's back was to you, so she didn't see you. Yeah. But I will also have you know that when I told my mom the story, she goes, "Did you use liquid soap?" And I said, "Yeah, Mom, I used liquid soap. It gets in all the crevices." And she was like it was a moment of pride for her. You could tell. Approval that I used the liquid soap. So, I don't know. Parenting is, you're constantly questioning yourself and trying each day to do better, I guess is the best way that I can put it. So that was kind of I feel like we took a lot of time talking about that, but good Lord. I still just don't even know what to make it. She has been great since. She's had little moments of sassiness, but more of almost like a sarcasm type thing, not necessarily sassiness. She is not, yeah. And she's a sweet kid, and I think that's, like I said, I think that's why these moments where she's just like this terror. Like it wasn't an isolated thing. You know what I mean? Like if it had just been her crying or whining and then getting sent for timeout, like it would have been no big deal.
Right.
It would have been a blip. It would have been a 5-minute blip in our weekend.
It was build up of the whining.
But it was like
sass and
just things on top of each other. But like now I have to kind of laugh about it. Like her response was, I don't know, I spit it out. So
yeah, that's honesty.
She's a pretty clever kid apparently. Can think on her feet a little bit. So anyway, that's that. So life's kind of tied up right now in parenting. But so that's, you asked how my week's going. That's my week. How's your week going?
As I'm getting swarmed like I'm a dead raccoon in the forest by these flies.
Yeah. That's a lovely analogy. Thanks for putting that in our listeners' minds.
It's descriptive.
Yeah,
this week. I don't know.
So you have to, when you have to talk, because you can't have dead air.
You can on a podcast.
Well, you shouldn't.
It's not like I have sponsors reaming me out for it.
I'm going to ream you out for it. I'm worse than sponsors.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, you're just... Yes. I'm just trying to get to the weekend.
Yeah.
Like every day blends.
You're going golfing with buddies.
I am.
That'll be
getting
fun.
out of here.
Wow, okay,
getting out
thanks.
here for a couple hours.
Yeah, nice. Might be in the market for a new husband.
But, yeah, just trying to get to the weekend. This week has just been tough mentally.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, like, we're nearing my sister's due date. And so right now I feel like our lives are so much up in the air because the minute the baby's born or we have an inkling of when the baby's going to be born, like, Izzy and I are going to be flying out. And so it's, like, a hard thing, like, trying to make plans right now. And because we just, like, everything feels so uncertain. And then I'm having a hard time with the fact that August is not that far away because I'm not ready to go back to school.
It's a week away.
Yeah, I need the summer to slow down. So.
Well, your ideal situation would have been for your sister to give birth last week. You immediately head out to Texas, come back by August 1st.
And then have
the whole month of August.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we report back to school
3 weeks of August.
Later in August, but yeah, that would have been the ideal situation. But
damn it, Court, pop it out.
As we know, my family does not do very good about running on time. So apparently,
so this baby's due when?
August 7th. So I mean, she still has time.
September 15th.
God, I hope not. For Courtney's sake, I hope not. She's in Texas. It's boiling. So anyway, how's the diet and exercise been doing? So when you say, what diet and exercise? We've had some good stuff to eat.
Food's been good.
Meal planning and everything. I've been trying to be active.
My iced black coffee has been feeding me until... Actually, I have fasted a couple days this week.
That's good. Been getting a little lax on that.
It's just hard.
I'm just having a hard time.
I think this summer...
Well, I think it's also because we're up so much later, too.
Yeah. We got to get back in routine. And
yeah,
we can't do that.
Not now. I mean, to try it sometimes during the school year. So we're apparently very old. We've morphed into old people because we eat dinner at 5 o'clock, and a lot of the time during the school year we're in bed by 8 o'clock. Because Izzy goes to bed really early because she has to get up so early, and she's growing. She needs a good amount of sleep, and so it's much easier to stop eating and then be able to, like, when I do my 16-hour fast during the school year, like, I can eat by, like, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I started my fast so early. But we're staying up a lot later, enjoying, a glass of wine or Truly or whatever. And so, yeah, it just, in general, it's been harder. I've just been trying to, I'm still going back and forth with these, like, 3 or 4 pounds. And I like, want to get fixated on it. And actually... It's funny because I've been keeping track of I've been weighing every morning and keeping track because I just like to kind of have a finger on the pulse of it. And I saw a note on there the other day that says you need to join the Patience Club. And I thought you had written that as, like, a reminder to me to, like, slow my roll and that I just needed to be patient, that at some point these 3-4 pounds...
Well, it works.
I'll officially lose them. and hopefully they'll stay off. But you said Izzy said that?
Izzy, I don't remember how or when she said that, but it came out of her mouth.
Okay. Well, apparently
we were in the living room.
Apparently, we both need to join the Patients Club.
No, that was me.
Okay.
I'm joined. Apparently,
you've joined the Patients Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I got kicked out
because you were impatient.
I was exiled.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess we're just gonna keep at it. And
I found a frozen treat though. That's my issue. And then I get in that routine of getting.
What's that?
That frozen coffee.
Oh, tell me more, because I don't think you've told me much about this.
Just a little Dunkin' Donut treat.
That explains why when I went to go throw the bag away in the garbage can, there were a bunch of Dunkin' Donut cups in the bottom of the garbage can.
Oh, that's from like last couple weeks. I finally cleaned out my work truck.
All right.
That wasn't all from like 4 days in a row.
Just remember that I do pay the bills, so let's not be charging a bunch on the debit.
Paying cash.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess for my healthy hack.
Healthy hack!
This time, I am going to go with the Joseph's flatbread.
Oh, yeah, because we ate a lot of those this week.
Yeah, we bought it. The garlic and herb one, and according to my WW app, it's 2 points, which is awesome. And I ended up buying a second pack, and we're notorious for like buying something and like being all gung-ho about it and then buying it again and then like not using it. And actually we used both packs all the way. I used them all, but I've been doing like breakfast burritos with them. Yesterday we had one left and I needed something for lunch and we had a bunch of like weird leftover stuff in the refrigerator. And so I literally there was like some onions and peppers, and Brussels sprouts. I warmed some of those up, and then I had warmed up, there was some refried beans and turkey meat, and I warmed that up and I threw both of those in there with some, of the fat-free cheddar cheese, and then just like fried it real quick on both sides, and it was a delicious burrito.
You actually bought more of those before you were out.
Yes, because they were on sale. So yeah, and I've done like a flatbread pizza with them. That we did crunch wraps with them, copycat crunch wraps. If you want to see a picture of those, you can go to my Instagram, Bella Bugs Mama 13, and see a picture of those. And they worked so much better. We've tried to do the crunch wraps with like other tortillas, low point tortillas, and these worked way, way better. And that was a delicious dinner.
They were thicker. I think that's why that worked.
And I think the shape works better.
Yeah.
And then rather than using an actual like corn tostada or whatever, we just used like crunched up tortilla chips, and so that helped too, I think. But so yeah, my Cathy's healthy hack this time would be the Joseph's flatbread. I definitely recommend it. At Meijer, I get it over by in the bread section by where they have those other, they've got like some of the specialty.
You found bread by bread?
I know. Well, you know what? After the whole egg roll debacle, you just never know. Okay? So that's why. Anyway, that's Cathy's healthy hack. Joseph's flatbread. I love them. You can see all the ways I used it on Instagram. I'm going to need to buy some more. Hopefully it's on sale again.
50 Shades of Flatbread.
50 Shades of Flatbread. There you go. So are you going to hit me with any Did You Knows this time? Or are you saving that for next?
Not this week.
Okay. My brain's pretty tired. I don't know if I can handle any other Did You Knows.
We just got back from dinner.
Yes. Because we actually... Our friend Nicole made fun of us the one time because it was like, oh, you don't have a kid tonight. Your kid's with Gigi. What are you going to do? And it was like, we're going to go home and record a podcast. And it was like, you're not even going to go to dinner or anything? So we actually went to dinner this time first. We had a new restaurant open up around the corner. Not as easy to get to as it should be because of road construction, but we don't have enough time to talk about that because that's a whole other story at this time in the mitten. So anything else that you want to share with everybody?
No.
All right. Well, fingers crossed that we stay cool and that you all stay cool and that our kid stays unsassy.
Stays cool.
She stays cool. And that we just kind of continue to plug away at our eating and exercise and stuff. So hopefully we'll have some good updates soon about that. But with that said, I feel like I talked a lot this episode. I'm sorry you didn't get to say anything.
You usually do talk a lot.
Yeah, I do talk a lot. But yeah, thanks for joining us once again for Imperfectly Us podcast. I'm Cathy.
I'm Jason.
And you should definitely like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.